everyone, and welcome back to this episode of Just Another Year Chicago. My name is Nick Rohde, your host, and today we are going over why Justin Fields should get the nod this week for the Chicago Bears. It is very likely he will be the starting quarterback for the Chicago Bears, as Andy Dalton is listed as questionable via Brad Biggs. A little past 1 o'clock here on Friday, October 1st. Very excited. In the video, I'm wearing a completely different shirt because Tony and I recorded while we were under the impression that Justin Fields was for sure starting. Just want to create that clarification. We all know you guys want Justin Fields to start. We want Justin Fields to start. So with that, here we go. Everyone, welcome back to this Friday's episode of Just Another Year Chicago. My name is Nick Rohde. I am joined alongside my good friend and co-host Tony Cepeda. Happy Friday. It is October 1st. Welcome to fall. It's sweater weather. It's tailgate weather. You name it, whatever you want it. It's officially spooky season. Go get your pumpkin spice lattes if you're about that. Here at Just Another Year Chicago, we are talking about week 4 of the NFL season of our Chicago Bears taking on the Detroit Lions at Soldier Field, and why the man under center should be Justin Fields this upcoming weekend and not Andy Dalton. Just to clarify, I am an Andy Dalton fan. I know I've said it over and over again. There's no doubt about it. But for this week, this is a giant opportunity for Justin Fields to really prove himself against a very weak Detroit secondary. And also, Bears legend Eric Kramer said it himself on the podcast a couple weeks ago. Justin Fields will be starting at this time. So before we dive into it, we'd like to thank our sponsor, Stupid Car Tray.
Stupid Car Tray saves the day. It's great for keeping your seats safe from grease and crumbs, keeping pizza level and secure, and while sitting on the couch during the Bears versus Lions game, or any game of this season for that matter. Use code J16, JAY16 at checkout to get 60% off your entire order. Nick, what you got for us?
So also, just to clarify with the Stupid Car Tray, it's super hard to break. It's 100% USA made, so it's made of very durable plastic. And if you ever try to chuck one of those suckers, like if you get mad about a Matt Nagy play or something and you chuck it, it's not breaking. It might break whatever you throw it at. That, like the Stupid Car Tray, very reliable. And also, shout out Illinois State. I will be there this weekend, Lot F43 next to Jimmy John's tailgating. Find me. Let's chug a high noon. But let's jump into it. Quick news about the Chicago Bears. The Bears, again, are 1-2 and tied for second in the division with the Minnesota Vikings. The Lions are 0-3, but don't go sleeping on the Lions. They're not too bad. We said it last episode. Go back to our last episode with drunk Khalil Mack. He had some really good takes on that. But from media day yesterday on Thursday, September 30th, with the coaches of the Chicago Bears, seems like Bill Lazor has control of the play calling. Had a couple smirks every single time he was asked about it. Seems pretty confident in the fact that he will be calling plays this upcoming Sunday for the Chicago Bears. And also, Matt Nagy's ego is too big for him to admit that he has to give up play calling again like he did last season. So if Matt Nagy's not saying he's the play caller, he's not the play caller. Like if he's not saying I'm the play caller, that means that he is not the play caller. So Tony, really fast, like in regards to just your feeling watching that episode, or not the episode, the media conference with Matt Nagy, like he looked like he was just like, he hasn't slept in, 72 hours. Looks like he just is defeated. He's already defeated. It's only 4 weeks in.
Yeah, I hate this trend. I hate TikTok. I'm not a TikTok guy, but tell me you're not the play caller without telling me you're not the play caller. Like, I mean, as much as I hate it, that was the most perfect way to describe it. It was, yeah, are you the play caller? Well, we've discussed things internally. We had these guys coming out to take. Yes, dude, just say yes or no. Doesn't matter. Like, if you have to really scheme this hard, or not scheme, but like be this protective against the Lions about who's the play caller to win a game. I mean, that's a tough look for us, I will say.
Matt Nagy is the kid that like always came to school with like the newest backpack and the newest shoes first. And then like finally one day some kid outbeat him and he had to like admit that like, no, these are, or like fake Jordans or something. Like that was Matt Nagy at media day. Like overall, just total embarrassment. Let's go back into injuries though real fast. Super exciting news. Justin Fields was a full participant again at practice this week, battling that thumb injury. It's on his right thumb. So looks good to go for Sunday. Pretty exciting news for the rookie. So, he's going to look good this upcoming Sunday against the Detroit Lions. This one, a lot of fans have a lot of mixed feelings about. Eddie Goldman was a full participant yesterday in Thursday's practice. Does that mean he's playing on Sunday? Absolutely not, because we've seen this before where Eddie Goldman will just be like, my knee, it's a little sore. I'm just going to sit out this one. Again, if it's a legitimate injury, for the love of God, please sit out. But, Bears fans want Eddie Goldman to come back so bad. It's absolutely insane. Andy Dalton was limited again this week in practice, so his chances of playing at all on Sunday are super low. So it's Justin Fields time, baby. Like, put in the clock. Tony's excited. Tony purposely messed up his tryout with the Chicago Bears earlier this week just to make sure that Justin Fields would play. Darnell Mooney was also limited this week. Yeah, warm up the shoulder a little bit. Darnell Mooney was out with a groin injury, or not out, but limited with a groin injury. So stay tuned for that. He might not play this upcoming Sunday, but he hasn't been downgraded, or he's just questionable right now. Khalil Mack sat out Wednesday and Thursday's practice. A little bit of a concern. We'll keep an eye on that. Make sure you follow our Instagram. It's in the handle below. We always give up-to-date information. We'll make sure we post that right when we find out, so stay tuned. Tayshaun Gibson Sr. also sat out all week, so that's a big blow to the secondary, even though Duke Shelley and Deion Bush actually did a decent job at the free safety position. So stay tuned, or strong safety position. Stay tuned for that. And then Joel Iyiegbuniwe, special teams, guru. Tony's like, yeah, he pronounced it correctly. Big blow to special teams. So, Tony, thoughts on these injuries? Like, who is the biggest blow to you? Like, personally, my biggest one is Tayshaun Gibson Sr. Like, I think that Robert Quinn has come on the scene, but like Tayshaun Gibson Sr., like, he's pretty impactful. I don't know.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I'll just kind of run through here. Here's just kind of my quick notes on it. Comment: Fields is fine. I think he's going to be fine. I mean, his thumb's probably sore and everything, but like, as a football injury, I think he's going to be okay. I think it was precautionary. I think it was just kind of, he did bang his thumb a little. It's like, well, technically he's questionable, because like I read a probable a couple of years ago, which is very annoying, but whatever. I do want Eddie to play really badly. I do kind of agree with you that it is weird. Like, at first, the start of the year, it's like, no, he's hurt. He's not going to play. It's like, okay. And then now it's like, oh, I think he's going to play this week. He's going to play. His knee was kind of acting up. He's not going to play. It does feel weird. I don't know what he's going through. I don't want to, say he better play. He's faking it. That's not true, probably. But who knows? So I hope he plays. That'd be cool to see him out there. If he doesn't, we've survived this long without him. Our defensive line isn't exactly the weakest link on our defense, so we can kind of figure it out. Andy Dalton will definitely not play this week. I'm calling it right now. Barring any crazy injuries where we have to force him to hobble out there. Pro Football Doc, I'm riding with you, buddy. I believe in you. Andy Dalton out again this week. And then lastly, my most impactful, like you said, Tayshaun Gibson with a P.
Gibson.
Excuse me. No, you said it right. I'm making sure that I pronounce it correctly. Our secondary isn't exactly our strength. We've obviously done a little better. Losing a starter there is not exactly what you needed. So hopefully the boys step up. Hopefully Tayshaun Gibson's okay too, because that would be a tough one to lose long term.
So, yeah, I mean, like, I agree with you in regards to Eddie Goldman. He's kind of the Matt Nagy of players. Like, he's always teasing with Bears fans' emotions. And, I just want to see him, like, get on a press conference and kind of explain himself what's really going on. Again, it's personal. Like, Eddie Goldman's a great guy, great influence on the Chicago Bears defense. We want it back. But Bilal Nichols has been, like you said, has been doing a great job. There is no doubt about it that Bilal Nichols can take over if needed. He's done it for 3 games. He's looked really good. He had a sack last week. So super excited about that. Now let's go into Justin Fields, what everyone wants to hear about. What it means for Justin Fields to start this Sunday's game for against the Detroit Lions for the Chicago Bears. Tony, I'm just going to kind of kick things off here. This is big, not only for Justin Fields, but for Bill Lazor. Bill Lazor, he's the play caller. People are like, oh, there's no for sure answer. Everyone and their mother who has played the game, has been in House Hall before, knows that this is Matt Nagy just saying, like, yep, I have surrendered it again to Bill Lazor. Now, we don't know if it's full control, but some control to Bill Lazor. Bill Lazor loves Justin Fields. And that's huge for Justin Fields because Bill Lazor last year, during the stretch that he was the play caller, the Bears averaged 30-plus points a game and over 400 yards. And I know that our frequent listeners are like, Nick, you say this every single time. Do you know how big that is, though, when you had Mitch Trubisky, Bobby Massey, and who is the other, Charles Leno Jr.? It's a little better now. It's a little better now. And again, it was 1 week of bad blocking. If it happens again this week against Detroit, a much weaker defensive line in regards to Jason Peters and Jermaine Ifedi, big concern. But the fact that Bill Lazor was able to do that, he was able to make David Montgomery gain over almost half his rushing yards in a 4-game span of last season. Extremely impressive. Made Mitch Trubisky look pretty okay in regards to Matt Nagy's scheme. So Bill Lazor, this is huge for him. And then also Justin Fields. Justin Fields himself is able to, last week was a disaster, obviously, with Matt Nagy as the play caller. Absolute disaster. Justin Fields was able to expand on his abilities. And, you know, when you have the right guy calling the plays, he gets to see what he wants out of his quarterback. Huge opportunity for Justin Fields. Much better play caller than Bill Lazor. You're going against the 25th ranked secondary defense in the NFL. It doesn't get much easier than that. Obviously, Cleveland was a nightmare. There's no doubt about it. The play calling also was an issue. But you're going against a pretty weak secondary in the defense. This can give Justin Fields a huge confidence boost. And hey, the Bears could ride him the rest of the season. Matt Nagy might have to eat his words and be like, oops, Justin Fields is actually our guy moving forward. Andy Dalton, you're going to sit on the bench. Like at home, and it's also at home in front of the greatest fans in the entire world. Might not be the greatest stadium. Arlington Heights will be the greatest stadium in the world. Soldier Field's a good stadium. There's no doubt about it. But you got to look out to the future. And, you know, 61,500 people versus 100,000 people screaming your name. It changes you as a person. Tony, overall, what does it mean for Justin Fields, in your opinion, to start this game?
Yeah, so you're totally right on that confidence aspect. And first, I just want to say it's a whole Detroit weekend. The White Sox I'm actually going tonight, playing the Detroit Tigers. We're playing the Lions. You know, the Bears are playing the Lions. So let's just teach Detroit a lesson. I think that'll be good. Put them back in
Detroit
their place.
Sucks.
Detroit sucks. Exactly. So you're totally right on that confidence aspect, though. The Browns game, it was the worst possible thing you could have asked for the prince that was promised, you know, the rookie of the guy that's gonna be the franchise quarterback. You throw him out there, you're hoping, okay, let's show me looks okay. Just sacked 9 times. 9 times. 9.5, or was 9.5? Either way,
it was 9. It was 9.
Yeah. However, maybe it could be the kick in the butt that the Bears need. I wish it didn't have to come at the expense of Justin Fields, but it could just be like, okay, it's, you know, that what was it? That Rams game that was tough, but it wasn't. No one got basically murdered on the field out there. This was truly a rock bottom game. And I think Justin's going to go out there and play with a chip on his shoulder, because although we don't blame him, I don't blame him. At least I get there were things he could be better. He's a rookie, first start, but he is the kind of guy. It seems like to me, at least, he's the kind of guy that's going to take all the responsibility for his team's faults, even if they're not his fault, they're Nagy's fault, whatever. But he's gonna take all the blame for it, and he's gonna try to be better, do what he can, you know, kind of lead this team. So I do think he's a true leader, and I think he proves that this week.
Yeah, you know, you kind of hit on it. Like, Justin Fields is going to play with a chip on his shoulder. He lost his first game in the state of Ohio last week against the Browns. I know a lot of people were like, oh, he's 10-0. Like, that was also college and high school. Like, no, he is not. It's not the same. I think that Justin Fields is going to walk into this game. I think it leads really good into our next topic. But Justin Fields, this is his game. This is going to be the Justin Fields game that a lot of people remember him for. And Bears fans, as we know, we like to overreact, go, so is Justin Fields the real deal or not? Yes, he is. There is no doubt about that. Could have Mitch been the real deal? I mean, you remember when John Fox threw Mitch out there against the Vikings on Monday Night Football? The Bears lost 17-13, I believe. Mike Glennon was just doing terrible. And John Fox is like, okay, my job's on the line. Turns around, looks at Mitch, and just throws him out there. That is exactly what happened to Justin Fields against a very good Cleveland defense. And like, again, Fields never ran with the starters. Nagy making comments earlier this week saying like, oh man, he looks really good when you run him with the starters. No, really? You think so, coach? Come on now, man. It is what it is. You got to throw him out there. You got to get him experience. You got to get him reps. And that's what the Bears should do this weekend with Justin Fields. Big opportunity for him. Very excited. So let's go into stat line predictions. Tony, what do you think? So obviously we don't know who the play caller is because that's just how Bears fans' lives are. We never know anything. I want you to give me 2 different predictions on who you think. What you got, Bill Lazor calling the plays, and you got Matt Nagy. Give me the stat lines for both.
All right. So for Bill Lazor, I'm calling like 18 for 27. You know, it's gonna be a couple of completions. Again, he's still a rookie. He's still, you know, it's just he's gonna maybe, you know, overthrow a guy by a step, something like that. So there's gonna be a couple drops, I'm sure. It's gonna be no one's fault. He's gonna throw for 305 yards. It's about 16 yards, 17, I think, average. Because I think he's gonna rip it up. I think he's gonna throw it deep because Bill Lazor's gonna be like, oh, how about we not do just 2-yard like dink and dunk slants, curls, whatever. Let's actually try. Like again, we said every podcast since the last game, the one deep ball, yes, it was a pass interference, but they gained 45 yards. So it's gonna be just at least trying more of that. They will come. He's gonna have 3 touchdowns. as well because he's awesome. Two of them, I'm going to say 2 passing, 1 rushing. How about that?
Okay, I was like, man.
yeah. I was like, yeah, that makes a little more sense. On the running the ball, obviously. So I'm not going to include Justin Fields in this. This is just Dave Montgomery, Damian Williams, whoever is lined up at running back. I'm going to call it 28 rushes, 138 yards, 1 touchdown, because I think once we open it up big time in the first half, we're just going to be running the clock out, run the ball down their throat. And I think also Bill Lazor recognizes that establishing the run will only help his rookie quarterback, Justin Fields, something that a certain other play caller who happens to also be the head coach somehow couldn't figure out. But that's a different story. Actually, it's this story. We're going right into it. Matt Nagy. It's going to be if Matt Nagy calls plays and, he's fully in charge of it.
This is going to hurt.
He's going to go 3 for 10 and sacked 15 times. So, it's going to be 25 dropbacks, but you don't include that in the attempts, 32 yards, 2 pick sixes, and none of it's going to be his fault. I'm calling that. They're going to run the ball 9 times for 48 yards. And 47 of those 48 are going to be on one play in like the first quarter where everyone's going to be like, dang, we can run the ball. Here we go. And he won't run it again until like the third quarter. It's because he's incompetent at this point. He can't understand simple block schemes and protections. And obviously, maybe that was a little sensationalism. Maybe, that is almost impossible, but that's how it'll feel.
Tony, I need you to go to the closest drug testing center for you in regards to the 15 sacks. So we don't. No, I'm just saying, I need to see your blood alcohol content level. I know it's Friday Fun Day, but sheesh, 15 sacks. I against this Detroit line. Hey, you never know though with Matt Nagy. Everyone's like, I can't get any worse than that. Matt Nagy will take that as a challenge because he'll be like, I'm so good, I got us worse. That's the challenge I was given. I got to agree with you in regards to that. There's going to be a much better chance with Bill Lazor in regards to play calling. I got Justin Fields going 23 for 31. I think they're going to air it out a lot against, especially a bad secondary in Detroit. 23 for 31. So, you're going to miss 8 passes. You're not going to make every pass. You're not Tom Brady yet. 285 yards and 2 touchdown passes. This is where I'm going to get a little crazy, is that I got Lazor rushing. I didn't even put the Bears rushing stats in there. Overall, I'm talking just Justin Fields. 10 rushes for 100 yards. I got him going in for a touchdown, so 3 touchdowns total. But Bill Lazor is going to air this thing out way more than Matt Nagy ever did. When I mean more than that, Matt Nagy, I mean 1 time a game. He's going to do it at least 2 times a game. He'll let Justin do what Justin needs to do. He'll give the right blocking schemes. He's going to spread out the receivers so the defense all isn't in one congested area on the field. Overall, I think that he's going to deep ball it to Goodwin, Mooney if healthy, Bird, anyone that's out there that's going deep. And actually, Bill Lazor will run the ball, which gives a lot more opportunity to efficiently give Justin Fields rushes and switch directions. So, let's say Dave Montgomery does a couple sweeps to the outsides, and then they do a trick play where it looks like he gives it to Montgomery. The whole defense is going that way. Justin Fields going that way with the ball. It's going to rip it up for, 20, 30 yards. Would be great. Bill Lazor is going to give a lot more opportunity, in theory, from what we saw last year, to Justin Fields to make sure that he has stats like that. So if you have Justin Fields on your fantasy team, if you want to risk it for the biscuit, throw him in there if you want, Tony, nice stats for Justin Fields. Matt Nagy's calling the plays. I got 15 for 26, 175 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 7 rushes, 71 yards, and a touchdown. Here's why. It's Matt Nagy. He's going to run a scripted offense, panic when it's not working out. Defense is going to figure it out. Justin Fields is then going to have to say to himself, listen, I listened to Justin of the Year Chicago. Nick has now said twice, don't listen to your head coach who's calling the plays. Make your own decisions and win the game. Just like Any Given Sunday from 1999 or whatever that movie was released. Or no, it was that other one. It was with Jamie Foxx. You know what I'm talking about? It was an old 90s football movie. Jamie Foxx came in, was this young quarterback, just absolutely didn't listen to anybody and ripped it up. No one knows what I'm talking about. Tony, you don't know what I'm talking about, but look up Jamie Foxx movies while I go into my score prediction. So overall, score prediction for me, Bill Lazor calling the plays. I'm going with my stats. 30-17 Chicago Bears win. Bears go to 2-2. What's the movie?
Any Given Sunday.
I
should have known that. I should have known that.
Great movie. It had some, I think LT's in it. There's some other really good, back in when 90s football was cool. Dan Marino was in it for a couple scenes. Overall, Any Given Sunday, let Justin Fields be Jamie Foxx. without the bad attitude off the field, because Justin Fields is just a classy guy. Matt Nagy's calling the play. So 30-17 Bears, Bill Lazor calling the plays. If Matt Nagy calls the plays, I hate to say this, 17-14 Lions, Matt Nagy's fired after the game. Tony, what are your score predictions?
Well, naturally, I had to base my score predictions off based on the stats that I said. So, the math got a little weird, I will say, after that. However, I stand by all of it. Bill Lazor, if he calls the plays, 34-10 Bears. Take the Bears, take them on the spread, take them whatever. Matt Nagy, if he calls the plays, I guess we won't know until the game starts, so be careful in taking the spread. If Matt Nagy calls the plays, Bears are going to lose 35-9. It's going to be 3 field goals. It's going to be disgusting. It's going to be terrible. And we'll have a new head coach by Monday, maybe Tuesday, at least an interim head coach.
I think Bill Lazor will get the interim, and Justin, because Sean Desai is doing a great job with the defense. There's really, he'll literally say nope, you got it. Just do whatever. Just talk to me. But yeah, I think that Bill Lazor will be interim. It sounds like you agree, right?
Yeah, and Sean Desai, not that he would be a bad head coach or anything, I have no idea, but it'd be kind of a big jump to his first year's defensive coordinator. Coordinates three games and he's head coach. That's just kind of fast,
Well, hey, the man loves the job. That's called a quadruple promotion or something. So overall, very excited for this weekend, even though last weekend sucked. Again, we'll be back right after Sunday's game with full game recap. Tony and I might be a little hungover, but that's totally fine because we're going to be sweating out the whole game, considering the fact that it's probably going to be an intense game that it doesn't have to be, but that's because we're Bears fans. So Tony, thanks for coming on as always. And with that, thank you very much for joining this episode of Just Another Year Chicago. My name is Nick Rodi, joined alongside Tony Cepeda. Happy Friday. We'll see you guys on Sunday.